Hi guys, Extra Talk. Last Extra Talk before the Johan Cruijffschaal, guys. Preseason is basically over. We have a couple of things to discuss, as you know, and we want our people, our viewers, everybody also to engage. Let us know what you think. Show some love for our panels. Show some love for the XtraTalk Ajax community. So give us a like if you enjoyed this video, and let's start. I'm gonna start with Sahbi because he has this fancy 442 magazine behind him. Is that a Sahbi Ajax shirt also?
Superstar!
Yeah, bro.
Amazing,
I mean,
bro. Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
bit by bit, we're trying to do our best to give it like a nice view on for viewers as well.
Good, very good. Listen, Sahbi, I want to start with you. Let's talk a little bit about the transfer window first.
Yeah.
So we know that Hamstelaar, they're busy first window. So Huntelaar and Hamstra. And we were a little bit concerned. We were also in the panel. We were a bit concerned, like, oh my God, Mazraoui is leaving, Gravenberch is leaving. Can we get Brobbey back? These kind of things. We still have a month to go, but we got some signings now, and we can a little bit piece by piece now start, assessing. Okay, how are they doing? What's your first take on how Huntelaar and Hamstra has been doing as a director of football, both of them?
Yeah, I mean they're both new, but I rate them high, especially at this moment. They performed well in getting the players they wanted because they were all known. They have their own specific tasks, which is clear. The one is responsible for this part, and the other one for the other part. So there's no mix in between. The only bad thing about them, from my point of view, is that they kept focusing on one specific target for that specific position, and I think that was one of the reasons why the transfer fees for those players were quite high. They didn't go to a plan B or like having a tactic to lower the transfer fee, but getting those players on board, that's something which they obviously have done. So props for them. And yeah, they're determined. I mean, they got that determination. They wanted the player, they got him. So overall, happy with their performance. But I think they could have done a little bit better with regards to the transfer fees.
All right, Ajax, do you agree, or do you have another opinion about this?
You're asking me if I disagree or agree with Sahbi. Here we go again, guys. A bit. I agree a bit with what he's saying, but I think you also have to take the market into consideration. And let's please not go into XtraTalk economics before I start about figures. But we got in a lot of money from the sales of a few players, and we spent less than we got in. And I know we need to make some profit from transfers also, but you have to take all those things into consideration. Yes, we spend a lot, but we were able to spend a lot. And it's also a strength if you go for your primary targets that you are able to secure them. If you look at, for example, Manchester United at the moment, they are still trying to sign Frenkie de Jong. This is one of their main targets, and they are not able to get them in, also with other signings. And this is the strength of Huntelaar and Hamstra. They had their primary signings in mind, and they were able to secure them. So you can see in this market that it's not always easy to sign the targets you want, with the examples I just gave. So I think you have to take this into consideration also. And but I do agree with Sahbi a bit with the strategy. If you bet on one horse, it's easy for clubs to demand higher asking prices. Same with Anthony, we're doing now towards other clubs. So if you play that game, maybe you could lower the amount that you spend for them, but it could also drag on for a long time because you're trying to play a little bit of bluff poker, And something is important also, you have to have those signings in the preseason so that they can get used to the team and that they are ready for the season. And this is something that they were able to do.
Yeah, PapiMento, your take on the signings. Do you like the signings, the players that we got in? Are they players that you get fuzzy, warm feeling about? Yes or no? Because I know there are a couple of Ajax players you don't like so much. So I want to know if the signings are, in which bracket are they for you?
Okay, let me start by saying that this transfer window has been very unique for Ajax, okay? We lost a lot of good players, and for two new TDs actually in that position to do what they did in such a short amount of time, I must applaud it, and I'm very excited with the transfers that came in. I mean, Conceição for 5 million, that was a surprise, came out of nowhere. That's very good. I was very sad when we lost Lisandro. Also very sad we're losing Nico, fan favorites, But bringing in Bassi, for instance, made me happy, At least we're not sitting on the money and buying a 10 million Magayan and hoping for the best, but we're going a little bit more ambitious, and I like that. The only thing is the right back position. I hope Hamstelaars looks at that right back position and says, no, we need somebody. But I think they did excellent. It's such a busy period, and actually a unique period for Ajax, losing so much and buying so much in one transfer window. So I must applaud them. I'm very happy actually with what they did. We have a team that is amazing, actually, if you think about it. Not just the starting 11, but also the bench. It's strong, it's competitive. People are already discussing, who should go out. Is it Blind? Is it Wijndal? So, very happy with what's coming. Of course, we didn't see Bassi play yet, but I'm everything I heard from the Rangers fans, he's a gem.
A gem. Sahabi, the signings, PapiMento already touched upon it. Are you also that ecstatic about the signings, apart from what you said about the fees? But are you happy with each individual signing that we got in?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on paper, we did manage to keep a strong squad. I mean, certain key players left, but we also got some very good players in. With regards to Bassi, I'm very excited about him, but we still need to see how he will pick up the CB role, the central back role, because it's quite difficult from an Ajax perspective, the system of Ajax, to blend in, to make it very easy and to cope with the system. And it's obviously very difficult to replace Licha, who we hold very high from that perspective. So it's going to be difficult for Bassi. We're all excited, but he needs to show it. And I'm quite hopeful and excited to see how he will do. And Conceição, a steal. I mean, 5 million for such a great talent. Future-wise, it was an excellent buy. The only thing is that it's all depending on Schreuder, how he will blend in all these players. I mean, we need to create a well-oiled machine, and that's a huge task for Schreuder to do this. So I'm on the other hand, on the one hand, I'm excited, but on the other hand, quite skeptic to see how he will do it with this strong squad. Altogether.
Yeah, exactly. Because we saw also it wasn't Schreuder, but it was Ten Hag last season. We had the same high expectations. We had a lot of players also on the bench, and it turned out to be a little bit different than we expected how the team will blend in. But we'll touch upon that maybe later. I want to go to Ajax. Ajax. So we spoke about the signings. We spoke about the transfer window. Everything is positive. Everything is good. Let me talk about the preseason. So there were a couple of games already. We've played all our games except for the Eintracht Frankfurt, which was cancelled. But now we have Johan Cruijff coming up, the real game.
The Shield, yeah.
The Shield, yeah, the Schaal. Your opinion on the preseason so far? Things you've noticed, it's hard, I know, but maybe some things that you can say, you know what, I'm seeing already some stuff from Schreuder, or I'm seeing a couple of players playing that position. It's interesting, it's not interesting, etc.
Let me start with a positive. Kudus. And I know we did a whole video on him recently, but the panels weren't there. You had a different members there at the moment, different persons talking about it. Kudus surprised me a lot, and I hope that he performs well and he stays fit this season, because he was the revelation for me in the preseason. Then the negative. I wasn't able to see the whole match of the second game, but there were a little bit of rotation players used there and a little bit more used.
Reserve against
reserve, yes. Okay. But the first game, you saw that we had problems with transitional defense. When we lose the ball up high, they were pressing so high and with so many people that we got countered on, and you could see that it gives us problems. And with the fitness level at the moment in this team, if you play against the PSV, that is more of a counter-attacking squad, especially when they play against Ajax usually. They are further up in the preseason, maybe more fit. If you play with the same mentality against a team like that is a little bit further already, I can see them giving us a little bit of headache. So we need to be ready to cover those transitional phases when you lose the ball and the opponent overruns you. Because you could see the flaws of our team at the moment there. And maybe it has to do with the preseason, maybe the players aren't fit yet, but it worried me a little bit, Juan, to be honest.
PapiMento, your take on the preseason? Do you share the same concerns and also opinions of Ajax, or did you see something else?
No, I share some of the opinions of Ajax. Like, for instance, the first half against Shakhtar, I wasn't happy with the lineup whatsoever, and it made me worried, because if that's the first 11 that Schroeder is thinking about, it's not very dynamic or very possession based on the midfield. So you have two amazing wingers, but who's going to do distribution with an Alvarez and a Klaassen on the midfield? And that's why I want one or the other. If you play Klaassen, then Taylor Berghuis next to them. If you play Alvarez, it should be Taylor Berghuis, Kudus Berghuis, whatever combination you would like. But one of those should be on the midfield, not more than that. And you saw it immediately in the second half when other players came in, more football from the midfield, and it just gelled better. Some concerns, but also a lot of positives, like Taylor, Kudus, Wijndal. I didn't mind. Berghuis played well. Bergwijn was amazing, actually, in that game. So there's a lot of positives as well, but it took us a while to score in that game, and most of our chances were very, how do you say that? Predictable, how they were built up. So those are things I'm still worried about. Could be the fitness level, but it's also not the first 11 I desire.
Okay. Can I briefly ask him one question, Juan, because I'm curious. I understand your problem with the Klaassen Alvarez, a pair up in the midfield, but you say either play Klaassen and play with two different persons, either play Alvarez or play with two different persons. But who are you going to play on Alvarez position if you choose for Klaassen? I know you.
Well,
probably
let's be
won't,
honest.
I know you
Yes,
probably
sorry.
won't choose for Klaassen. Me neither. But if you do not choose for Alvarez, who's going to take that defensive load? Because you're not going to play Klaassen on his position, I think.
Look, Klaassen is a child of the club, Ajax. So never that he's not going to come in off the bench, okay? There are enough games in the Eredivisie, which Fortuna Sittard, all those lower teams, you can play without an Alvarez for some games. I don't expect Alvarez to be playing all games the whole season long. So you could play Taylor as a sixth position in a team against like a Fortuna Sittard or a Sparta or whatever, and play Klaassen as a 10. You should be able to do that, in a higher competitive state. Of course, you go for Alvarez on the 6 for more body, more defensive work, but it's not always in every game the case that it's needed.
Isn't that maybe, Juan? I don't know your opinion, Sahbi, about it, but isn't it against those lower tier teams that we lost a lot of points last season because we couldn't break them down? We started pressing higher and higher and playing more attacking football, and then we got countered upon. Isn't the Alvarez type somebody you need in those positions, in those games, to keep the balance against those counterattacks? Because if you look at all the points dropped last year, it was almost against all lower tier teams. We performed quite well against the higher tiered opponents. So both is something to say for, I think.
Sahbi, you want to answer that one? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand the point of Ajax. I agree with that. But on the other hand, you don't always need a specific player like Alvarez, even though in those matches against the small teams, as long as the footballer who should keep the balance does what he needs to do, like keep control of the midfield in order to defend their counterattacks. So it's all about the mindset. from that perspective. But I do understand your point. You need somebody who can really like get into it, stop the attack on their side. But it doesn't always have to be the specific type of player like Alvarez.
Look, I heard Bassi is a very good one-on-one. Timber is very good one-on-one. If that's our central duo, and you have maybe a Blind as a 6, it should be possible against lower tier teams. Just my opinion. But go ahead, Juan. You wanted to say something.
I could see that working for some games, putting Blind as a 6, and then you have Bassi and Timber behind. One of the things that caught my eye, for instance, is when we play with Rensch as a right back and also Wendell as a left back. They're two very attacking minded, and we're a little bit vulnerable on the flanks. So that's one thing also to keep an eye on. And also reason behind this, if you look at how they are instinctively as a player and their strengths and weaknesses, I think Alvarez is even more important for this team now than he was last season. You know, actually, that was also the thing I wanted to ask you guys, because we were talking about the transfer window, and we shifted a little bit about the preseason now. But I just want to ask you one question about the transfer window, because at the start there was this news coming from Telegraaf, Mike Verwij, my buddy. So he said basically that there were two players. That's what we know. Two players were okay if they come in with a good bid, they can leave. We know Haller left. And by the way, about Haller, we hope he's doing okay. Speedy recovery. And Alvarez. So Alvarez, if a bid was coming in, let's say 30 million or something, our view, or according to the Telegraaf, our view, Ajax was like, okay, we will sell him, we will get a replacement. Do you guys still think Ajax thinks that way? Do you guys still think at this stage in the transfer window, if a bid comes in for Alvarez, we will let him go? Anyone?
I think we all agree that he won't be sold. He's one of the key players, especially now, especially in the system of Schreuder, where we play with really attacking-minded three-line up front. You need such a player, and I don't think you will get a new player who can blend in that easily. I mean, at first, I would say for 30 million, it's a good deal, but we need to have a specific player like him, but with more football. But now it's way too late. It's way too late. We need to stick with him and move on, because we lost already a lot of key players.
But I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, Juan, if I may.
You are a devil, so
I'm a devil. Isn't it a bit contradictory that you're saying this now? Because we had a discussion, I can remember, in an XtraTalk a few weeks ago, and you were like,
exactly.
for 30 million, 50 million, or 10 million, you can get a South American player that can easily replace him and as a huge talent for the future. But now you're actually stating a little bit different, right?
No. But I mean, I just said if we've done it like a few weeks ago, like starting of the preseason, then I would definitely agree with this, because you had time to blend in, just like we got the other players as well. But now, like we're already starting Saturday against PSV. It's too late to have him sold for 30 million. Which is still a good price in my view, and then get in another player. It will be just way too late. And now we just have to stick with him. And by the way, he has a terrific preseason. That's one of my key takeaways from this preseason, because I actually saw him having progressive passes, like cross passes. I was
not
really
only
surprised.
that, Sahbi. So did you see that shot of him outside of the 16-yard box?
The
keeper narrowly saved it.
Yeah, but
that was amazing.
He already
you can
has
see him.
great shots.
You can see him improving, right?
Yeah. He's improving. I mean, and I'm more surprised about his progressive passing, which were quite well. And it's not only one; there were several. So he learned a lot in between, I have to say. So quite surprised. So that was one of my key takeaways from the preseason. I still have some, but I will leave it up to you, Juan, to take over the.
No, you know what? Just because we want to go to other subjects, so just tell me other stuff that you considered or saw.
Yeah. I mean, there's some small things. Now, first of all, I have to say, Klaassen this preseason plays like shit. He's really bad. So that surprised me as well. I mean, probably not for PapiMento, but yeah, I was quite surprised. What surprised me more is Tadic is more efficient on the left wing than in the striker position. We saw that when he changed into the left wing position, we started to play quite better, and yeah, that was quite surprising to see as well. What I've seen as well is the build-up is not that great. Also, pressuring our opponent, not that great. But what worries me the most is I still have not seen the hand of Schroeder yet. I have not seen something special what he has done with the team, tactic-wise or anything else. So it's quite worrisome because he's coaching, he's training the squad already for several weeks. I mean, you may assume that you could see some things that have been improved or something new that he has implemented in the system, but I haven't seen anything. I don't know whether you saw something, Ajax or PapiMento.
But Sahbi, you know, he's busy with trying to learn the persons behind the player, you know. So give him some time because this is the most important thing for him. If the player feels comfortable, everything will start gelling in. So
I think we should give him more time. We should give him more time.
No, definitely. But
one of the things that I saw, but it's still early because it takes a little bit more time to see everything, and also we need to see all the other players also. We haven't seen Bessie yet, etc. But I think what struck me also, you guys mentioned already a couple of things. For me, our attacking, especially attacking-wise, the pressing is much more aggressive than it was with Den Haag. At least we're trying to be more aggressive in the pressing. And the second thing is when we have the ball and we're attacking, we're playing much more through the middle than last season. A little bit, I think he wants to go back to the 18-19, in which we played a lot through the middle as well.
But it's quite logical.
If you want to,
it's quite logical. Sorry, go ahead, Pop.
Yeah, but if you want to play like 18-19, you had Frankie, Schöne, and Donny van de Beek on the midfield. You're not going to get that with Alvarez and Klaassen. So if you want to play more to the middle, there should be more football in that midfield.
So is this going to be your statement for the rest for the remainder of the video? Klaassen, Alvarez?
No, because I look. Sahbi just said, yeah, Tadic was better on the left side. Tadic had to play the first half with Klaassen and Alvarez on the midfield. What balls is he gonna get in the center of the pitch? None. Of course, exactly what you expect. But
actually,
if he,
sorry. Actually, just to say something about that. Actually, you're right about that. Especially in the last game, you saw when Anthony came and also Bergwijn, they were showboating on the sides. They were going for it, and there were not a lot of passes through the middle on that particular moment when they got the crossball from Alvarez or other players, or Blind. Blind was amazing as well with ball deliveries. But you saw that Tadic didn't really get a lot of things to do in the central area position. So I think in terms of Tadic, I think we have to be a bit more patient because he's been playing on the left side for I don't know how many years now.
Yeah, we need to be patient. But you may think that with Klaassen, they could cooperate better because Klaassen goes over Tadic into the penalty area. Tadic leans back, goes a bit deeper. You would say that the collaboration would be good, but it's the contrary.
Klaassen, just an opinion about this for all of you. Is Klaassen another option for you? Can he play another role than the 10 position for you? Or is this really the only thing you can see him play?
No, I mean, I can see him play an Alvarez role.
No.
Because he has that hard-working mentality. Let's say Alvarez gets injured. You could consider him taking over just because of his work rate.
You would put Klaassen as a 6. You would consider Klaassen as a 6.
Just to take out the counters? Maybe, yeah.
He is good in shadowing, because he's always absent in the game. So this is a trait he has.
No, but
seriously, no.
Yeah, Ajax is go ahead, Ajax. It's not an option.
No, for me, no.
So only a 10 for you? Only a 10?
For me, he's like a perfect 12th player, from the bench. Bring him in when you need him. But to be honest, he's not a regular for me in this team with those players available. And about Tadic, I think we do not need to worry too much about him. He's like a cat, people have written him off many times. He's like 9 lives. He always lands on his feet, So whatever he plays, wherever he will be in the formation, he will contribute for us. And you have to take into consideration that we are still in the preseason. Not everybody is fully fit. They didn't play a lot together. So things will start gelling after a few games, I think.
You said 9 lives. He came in 2018. It's 2022, so he has still 5 years to go.
Yeah, and like a cat, he always lands on his feet, So don't worry about him. It will be all right. He will definitely contribute.
All right. Sabi, did you want to react on PapiMento or Ajax?
Yes, I mean, surprise, surprise. I agree. I agree with Ajax on this. So wow, indeed. No, but I don't agree with PapiMento with the class on number 6. I would rather put a player like Taylor on his position, who is quite faster, who would be able to. He has more that football skill.
But he has no defensive qualities whatsoever. But
and
he has the attacking.
And Klaassen has.
Klaassen is more of a fighter than Taylor, to be honest.
Yeah, but fighter. I mean, do you want a fighter or do you want to have?
You want a closer, right? Yeah, we only think about the possession game. But what happens if a counter happens? You think Taylor will recognize the dangerous moments?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
No.
I think I would even rather put Kudus there before Klaassen, to be very honest. But not his ideal
Kudus
position, but I would choose him above Klaassen on that position, to be honest.
Look, I think you guys are underestimating. I will step a little bit to PapiMento's side for this one, because I think one thing that Klaassen does have is tactical discipline. His tactical discipline is better than most of the other teams. He's a very intelligent player, but he's an intelligent player, so he sees what happens on the pitch. And I think from that area, from that perspective, it's not my ideal solution, to be honest, to put him on a 6. But
me neither.
What PapiMento is saying.
It's not my ideal solution either. I'd rather see him on the bench, but I'm just saying you could use him in a different way.
Yeah. Look, I want to move to another topic, and Sabi already touched upon it, so I will start with Sabi about this. So we spoke about the transfer window. We know a couple of players already came in. There might be other players coming in still. They're looking at maximum 3 players still, but it depends on the market. Now things go. Maybe a right back, which we need basically, looking at how it looks right now. And we talked a little bit, of course, on the preseason. Now, looking ahead, right? I know it's early to say these kind of things, but we have the Johan Cruijffschaal coming up, Shield for Ajax, and then we have the Eredivisie starting. So I want to ask you guys, because you touched upon this squad is really, we have a big squad, a lot of quality players. We actually maintained in terms of the depth of the squad. We have the same as last year. We have to gel. The only problem is now we have to gel it in. We have a new coach, all these kind of things. So my question to all of you, and I will start with Sabi, the strength and the pitfalls, basically, of this team and maybe this season with a new coach. What do you think we should be, wary about going into this season, Sabi?
Yeah, I mean, potentially, this Ajax can have the strongest attacking line in depth ever. I mean, we have so many potential stars up front, so that's definitely one of the strongest assets that we have within our team. In terms of defense, I mean, I still have to look how Bassi plays, but if he's that good in the build-up play as people say, especially the Ranger fans, we may have a really great defensive lineup in terms of the build-up play, and this can be seen as a really strong asset, especially in the Champions League, where we need quick players. We need players who, in defense, who can build up, especially if attackers will defend or pressure Timber. You can always rely on Bassi, or you can always rely on Blind, because I know Blind will always play. So we have a lot of players who can build up from the back, and that's really a strong asset. Yeah, weakness remains the transition part. I mean, Schreuder really needs to do something about it, because if we continue like this...
Well, one of the things we didn't touch upon is the last game we saw Fitz-Jim coming in as a right back. What do you think of that?
I think it can be a decent solution. Yeah, I mean, he has that a little bit of profile as Mazraoui. He also played in midfield He knows how to play ball. Technically, he's very good. Physicality-wise, I think he needs to do a little bit more. But Mazraoui wasn't really that strong at the beginning, so it might work. It might work, but how much time do you think he needs to cope with the right back position, or to learn the defense part? Because I don't think he really is that defensive minded. That's my view on it.
All right. That was your take on.
Well, yeah, I mean, PapiMento already mentioned the right back position. That's one of the weakest positions at this moment. But if you bring in Fitzjim, it's still one of the weakest positions because he's new and he tries him over there. But we definitely need a new right back. And yeah, and from my view, I think we are also too dependent on Alvarez at this moment. There's no real backup for him, or at least he's not substituting him a lot. Only the last game, but he isn't substituting a lot to see whether there is a decent replacement on his position as well. Because Alvarez will most likely be the number one in the sixth position, but we still don't know who will be, in Schreuder's view, who is the second in line. And that can be worrisome if he gets injured.
I think it's Blind.
Yeah, but he hasn't
Blind,
tried,
because he said
Yeah.
it also in his interview that he could play
Yeah.
all three positions. So
yeah, but I mean, he said it as well with Kudus. He could play right wing, he could play striker, he could play 8, etc. So I mean, it's something that a coach normally says. But if he could play there, why hasn't he played him in that position in the second half, for example, just to see how he develops or how he plays in that position? So
Well,
I think that's quite worrisome from my side to see this.
I think the reason he didn't try Blind yet on another position is because that position where he's playing, the left center back position, is the one we don't have any other alternative except for the other Lisandro goat that we have.
Yeah. I mean, the first half he could play as a left center back, and then second half as a defensive midfielder to see both sides.
Yeah, he could have tried it.
I mean, these are all friendly matches. It's not like we're playing for something.
That's true. But at the same time, he's trying also to get some rhythm going with the team, you know. So
yeah, but nonetheless, we haven't seen a number 6 besides Fitzjim playing in the 6th position, and that's quite worrisome.
Let me throw something at you, Ajax, because Sabi mentioned a couple of things. I was thinking about this question as well. You know, I mean, what are the potential strengths? You can talk about that. Other potentials that we should maybe think about is we have a World Cup coming up. Basically, every player on that team wants to play for the national team. Not everybody can play, so Schreuder has to make choices. Do you think that this will go well? Do you think this is maybe the hardest thing about Schreuder that he has to manage this season?
Quite funny that you bring it up, Juan, because this is one of the points that, man.
Yeah, me
this
too.
Is one of the points that I wanted to say, because with Ten Hag, we saw last season and the seasons before that he is not substituting players and keeps playing them, even though they not always deserve it, in my opinion, to still be in the starting 11 because they had a run of bad games or didn't perform optimal or just burned out during the season because they got played so much. And I hope that Schreuder will make his choices based on who is the best player for that position at that moment, who has the best run, who has the best, form at that moment. Because we've all had this discussion last season when Klaassen was sometimes playing, when Blind was sometimes playing, even Tadic in certain games, they never get substituted. And I just hope that he doesn't do the same thing as Ten Hag did, because this was one of the main criticisms that we had on Ten Hag. Not rotating the players too much and not making those really hard decisions, in my opinion. So
you earn your minutes, right? You don't get your minutes.
Yeah, but Papi, how do you earn your minutes if you never get a chance, right?
That's what Ten Hag said.
Yeah, that's what Ten Hag said. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm repeating what he said.
Yeah. Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, exactly. I'm on the same page. And also, Juan, to be really honest, I think we do need some strengthening within the squad still. We talked about H2, Hamstra and Huntelaar, and also to judge how their window is so far, you also need to start judging what they will do with the dead weight within the squad, because there are so many players still in the squad that aren't good enough, in my opinion, to be in the squad, and you need to start selecting and get rid of those players. Either ditch them during this period, or put them in the second squad and give the youth a chance or other players to develop and be with the squad instead of those players. You do not want another Labiat for 4 years there with other players that can take that spot. This is something important also.
Which players do you
Magayan, Schuurs, in my opinion, although he's a rotation player, but this is one of the things I wanted to say. I think there's needed another centre back still, because I think Schuurs is not of the level that we need to rely on if somebody isn't there. You have, let me think, Darami. I think he's ready for a loan or something, because although he didn't play a lot, I'm not really convinced by his performances and what he brought. I do not want to ride him up. No, me neither. So you have to take those decisions.
Hold on. Based on what? What did he play? How many minutes or chances did he get?
Yeah, but
it's not that, Juan. It's not that. It's what we've seen from young Ajax, him playing last year, and just also now with the friendly games. There's no growth there.
But I can. Go ahead. But I can ask you the same question, Juan. You stated that we needed another right back, and I agree with you. But based on what? How many games did Range play?
No, that's not true. Range got minutes last season.
Yeah, but this season, we already judged that we probably need a right back. It's the same thing that we can judge with Darami. I have more faith with a Axel van Dongen than Darami to develop at the team. So if you keep Darami at the team at the moment, although I like him as a person, I think you could benefit more from a youth player like him joining the squad and be there for a season, because personally, I do not see it with him. I didn't see it at all, the minutes that he got, and I know he didn't get a lot of chances, but if you get those chances, especially in the preseason, you should shine at least a little bit. For example, Kudus did not get a lot of chances either last season, and I know he was injured, but this preseason, he's taking those chances. He's showing what he's capable of. And he didn't play a lot also last season. And I know we know from Kudus before his injuries that he was pretty decent. And Rami didn't have that yet, But still, this is the way you have to handle those situations. And he grabbed those chances, in my opinion.
I understand what you're saying. I don't fully agree. And the reason why I don't fully agree, we got a player for 12 million, give or take. And last season, I don't think he ever came in, maybe one game or something, because Tadic was playing his position. Kudus, you can make the case, Kudus was injured and all these kind of things. He didn't get a lot of chances. I agree with that. But Kudus was sometimes used as a 10, sometimes used as an 8, these kind of things. But Darami cannot be used for other positions. He has one position, and the GOAT is playing there.
Exactly. But not only this, Juan. You have Tadic now there, and you have Bergwijn now there. Exactly. So it's even worse than last season. So rather have a youth product go and be included within the team and maybe get some spare minutes at the end of a game to get used to the team and get those minutes in that you have faith in, and try to get something out of the Rami still, because it can end up like a Bonde, or it can end up like a Magayan, paying 12 million or something for him, and now you get those stories in the media that we are allowed to let him leave on a free transfer with Magayan. That's a waste of money. I can see that happening with Darami also, because he's on that track, to be honest.
I don't see he doesn't pass the eye test for me, Darami. I've seen him so many times at young Ajax, and he should be showing his skills there. He should be much better than all the youngsters there, but it's not coming out, Juan. And you can maybe he's more suited for a counter-attack style of play than an Ajax style of play. Or maybe he's not the type of winger that wants to cut inside, but wants to stay on the side. So maybe you should play him on the other side so he can give the crosses maybe. But his decision-making and giving assists and stuff that he should be doing, he's not doing well enough to be at Ajax.
To connect the dots, Juan, this is why it's important to go for your primary signings,
Exactly.
Because backup plans can fail in the end. And it's not a certainty that if you go for your primary signing, that it always succeeds. But yeah, he wasn't our first signing. We bought him at the end of the window as a sort of panic buy, I think.
It was a panic buy, so it wasn't
Yeah.
probably not even a second choice. It was like a real panic buy. Like, what kind of player do we have in store? Okay, we got Darami, and let's go for it. But indeed,
I'm a bit disappointed by you guys. And I will
no.
Listen to me. Let me make my case. Look, at the end of the day, everybody has their opinion. And when PapiMento says he doesn't pass the eye test for me, I completely understand that. By the way, I just want to say one thing, though. I don't know which game it was that we played. Not Frankfurt before that. Which game was that? It was here in Amsterdam.
Salzburg? No, Salzburg.
Yeah, the goal that we made, the one that started that attack on the left side was Darami. He passed the ball through the legs of the defender, and that's how the goal came about. So I just want to make it clear that he's not useless as we're talking about.
No,
I'm not saying useless.
No.
Wait, just a minute. So that's one thing. You guys can react in a bit. I wanna say something a bit bigger than only Darami. We are behaving a little bit like a different club in recent years. We have more money. We can go for higher quality players, pay more money, etc., etc. But at the same time, what I'm seeing right now from the fan base, I'm going to talk about the fan base, and I think you guys are a little bit doing the same now, and we should be careful. Darami was bought a year ago. He's coming from another country. He's coming to the Netherlands. He has to get used to the Ajax, the players, the style, everything. He didn't get a lot of chances to be acquainted with that. And you can say, yeah, he played a young Ajax. All right. So now we're saying after 1 year, basically what you guys are doing is after 1 year, you guys say, yeah, no, he's not good enough. We're Ajax guys. We develop players. I mean, of course, not all players make it, but we have to be a bit more patient than 1 year for a young player, right?
The basis has to be there. The base has to be there. The base has to be there. I'm not seeing the magic in Darami. And yes, you're talking about young Ajax, maybe insignificant because he's playing with different players. But in the lower league division, he should be scoring 20 and giving 15 assists with if you want to be a starter in the first of Ajax.
That's not realistic, bro.
I'm over exemplifying everything, but I'm saying he should be at least scoring 10 goals and 10 assists minimum in young Ajax. And that's not happening. And I'm watching the games and he's doing nothing worth remembering.
But
so I don't know how you can defend the way he's been playing.
Yeah, Juan.
He didn't play, bro. He almost didn't play.
Juan, we are disappointed with you, bro.
So
disappointed with you.
In the friendly match, he had he had like 5 moments in which he goes to the side, or he loses the ball, or he gives a wrong pass to get an assist. Nothing happens.
Okay, Juan. Let me ask you one question.
Can Sabi react first?
Go ahead.
But just say, irrespective whether he is a good player or not, if you know that Mountawine was bought, if you know that Tadic is a key player on the left wing, would you, as Darami, would you want to stay?
That's not the question.
Ajax said he wants to have him loaned out because he already know, besides the fact that he didn't perform that well, he already knows that he won't play. So why would you keep him in your squad, a player of 12 million, and not playing him? I would rather have a youth player in the squad to gain experience and get those 1, 2, or 3 minutes a month, for example, and have and gain that experience. But Darami won't. It's not for Darami.
Darami is a young player too. You're talking about youth
player. Yeah, it's a young player, but he was bought for 12 million.
No,
you bought it for 12 million, so there's some expectation from him, right? Not the same expectation as a youth player. A youth player starts from scratch and he needs to be built up. If you buy a player of 12 million, you may expect that he would do something, deliver. And even though he didn't have those minutes or those minutes in which he could show his value. I mean, Ten Hag didn't see it in him. Schreuder didn't see it in him because otherwise he would have played him in the friendlies, at least in the second half, more often. So it's a clear message for Daramy. He needs to look somewhere else.
All right. Probably it will happen. I'm not debating whether he's good enough or not good enough. I'm debating about the fact that we're already making the justification. After 1 year, we bought him for 12 million. I think he signed a 5-year contract also. So after a year, we're going to loan him out. Basically, we're saying goodbye to him, basically.
Right. No, but he's still got 2 years left then.
This is what I wanted to ask you, Juan. If I have to ask you, would you play Bergwijn or would you play Daramy? Who would you choose?
Of course, it's not even a question. Bergwijn.
Tadic or Daramy, who would you choose?
No, I understand.
On Axel Dongen or Daramy, who would you choose?
That's not the point. The point is
about. But it is.
No. The point is about development. After 1 year, you're going to say, look, we're going to loan you out, or do you keep him for the second year and think, okay, we're going to give him one more try to see if he gets more minutes, if we do something maybe differently, he can still grow. He can reach a higher level. You guys are saying, no, let's loan him out right now after 1 year.
Potentially, I think this might be the best for him, and I'll explain to you why. He needs to adjust to the country a little bit more. Maybe he can do this also at another club. He is a young player still. He needs to develop. He needs to adjust to being here. And I think this can be done at the other club also. To be honest, when I heard that Club Brugge was interested in him, I thought for both parties, maybe it would be better if they bought him. Because also for the player, I do not see for him an opportunity here to actually play. And if you look at the style of play we're playing at Ajax, Daramy is at his best if he can run towards the opponents and has a lot of room to do his juggling in and to do his moves in. And we used to play in a very tight space. So that type of player maybe suits a team a little bit more that plays more counter-attacking football, to be honest. He's not, if I have to judge him based on what I saw, he's not that delicate in his technique that he can be very technical in small spaces like a Neymar, for example. He is that guy that juggles on the ball, sprints past the defender, uses his speed and his strength. In this team, the way we're playing, I just don't think it's a fit. And it doesn't have to be on us that we're maybe judging too hard, because you said it yourself. Our team is a little bit changing. The philosophy in the club is a little bit changing. We have more money. This means also, with the high standards we have now at the club and trying to compete with the European level, that there's less time at the club also. This is just reality. And we're not trying to be hard on him, but it's about making those rough and hard decisions sometimes also to say goodbye to certain players or let them leave to another club for a year, for a gap year. This is just the way I feel it, man.
It's scary, man. I have to agree with you on this as well.
Okay. PapiMento, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, quickly? I just wanted to, just quickly to you, a question. Daramy's best attribute. Go.
Dribbling towards the opponent.
And he does that better than Van Axel Dongen? I mean, what stands out with him?
No, wait. That was not your question. The question was...
but what stands out with Daramy that we should keep him?
What's a trick question, bro?
No, what do you see with Daramy that you think he could make it at Ajax? Let me say it like that then.
No. Again, you guys are not hearing me out on this one. The debate is not whether he's good enough, yes or no. He's not good enough at this point. I totally agree. My point is, we bought him for 12 million. It's a young player. He's coming from abroad. He didn't get many chances in the first year. Are we going to say goodbye to him already after 1 year?
Yes.
Do you remember? Wait. Do you guys remember when we bought Zlatan? I'm not going to compare him to Zlatan, but one moment. You guys remember we bought Zlatan in the first year, 1.5 years. We were like, who the hell is this guy? He didn't show anything on the games, basically. After a year, you start seeing something from Zlatan. I'm not saying it's going to happen with Daramy. I'm just trying to say we should be more patient sometimes with young players. That's my only thing.
Congratulations.
You joke about Zlatan and Daramy.
No. Congratulations. You found the odd one out, Juan, because we can probably give you 9 or 10 more examples that it didn't work out.
Mazraoui. We talked about Mazraoui. In the beginning, I remember that people were questioning whether Mazraoui was good enough to be our right back. It's still vivid in my memory.
Yeah, bro, but we did not question it. If your panel's questioning, all 3 of your panels are questioning the same player, then you should start worrying, like, am I wrong, for example? Because I think we're spot on with judging the Rami, and it
That's
may
not
be
how it
harsh.
works.
It
That's
may
not
be
how it
harsh,
works.
but we were also standing up for Alvarez when a lot of fans were saying, get rid of him, he's not good enough. We are also standing up for Kudus when people are saying, yeah, just sell him, he's not good enough. So we are actually taking care of certain players that we actually see quality in, but you also have to be sometimes realistic enough to be making a harsh decision. And I think,
I don't.
go
I
ahead.
don't think we're going to agree on this, but continue.
No,
we're not.
we don't have to agree on this. I want to make that point also for our viewers.
Exactly.
We're not here to agree upon each other on different opinions, because I know we talked about Schuurs. You said I want Schuurs to be gone. I know there are a couple of people that don't agree with that. They still think that maybe Schuurs has more potential than what he's showing right now. It's also a matter of opinion. Look,
side note, he should be gone if we get a replacement in, because we need rotation players, but I just don't see him as a first 11.
Let me finish my sentence.
Sorry.
I just want to make it clear to our viewers also, the whole We Talk community, the whole plan behind it is to have discussions. You don't have to agree with each other. That makes it fun. Everybody has opinions about football. It's about the players. That's what it's all about. And again, I'm not saying that the Rami is good enough. I'm saying, should we make a cut after 1 year? That's the only thing I'm debating. Okay? Quickly, before we end the show, predictions for the Johan Cruijffschaal. Who wants to go first? PapiMento, go first. Do you think we're already on the fitness level we supposed to be, or do you think we're lagging behind right now?
No, we're not on the fitness level we should be, but we have enough quality to slap that ass. So 3-0.
What? Okay. Slappy, you go. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I agree that we're gonna win. But I don't expect a quality game. PSV will probably put more attention to the Champions League game next week.
About that. Do you think they will play with their strongest players?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think they will. I think he will substitute his key players a bit earlier. That's my take.
What would be the score?
Score prediction would be 2-1 Ajax. And hopefully we will break the tradition by winning this Community Shield and winning the league as well, because the tradition is mostly...
Yeah.
Sorry?
It doesn't happen too often, yeah.
It doesn't happen that often, indeed.
Yeah. Ajax, take it away. It's all yours, man. What do you think?
It is such a difficult game to predict, because I think they are further in their preseason than we are. But I also think that he will spare a lot of key players, because I think the UCL matchup is much more important for them in this stage of the season than the Johan Cruyff Schaal or Shield, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think we will win, but I do not think it will be a great game. Hopefully a 1 or 2-0. I will take it, but do not see the great Ajax already combining and gelled in together. We usually need a few matches for that, also in the Eredivisie. So hopefully the win this time.
Would you guys be disappointed if we don't win it?
I'm always disappointed if we don't win it. We're in it to win it, bro.
PSV is
a little disappointment.
You know, especially with those teams, and let's end it on this one. Especially with those teams in the Eredivisie, you know, that celebrate everything like it is a trophy. This is a big prize for them. So if they win it, they will be trolling all over Twitter again, and you just don't want to communicate with them.
But a few days later, they will get disappointed when they lose again in the Champions League.
Juan, what's your prediction, bro? Because the fans always want to ask, what does Juan think?
Yeah, what does Juan think?
I think it will be a close game. You guys said it already, and I think. But the only thing I don't know, honestly, I don't know if he's going to play with his best 11, PSV. I'm questioning that really, because I think 1 or 2 players may be spared for the Monaco game.
Yeah,
because it will determine their season. I know with Ajax it used to be like this as well when we had qualifying rounds. Making it in the Champions League makes the season different in many ways. And by the way, if they win from Monaco, they're not there yet. They still have to play another one.
Bro, they're not going to make the Champions League, so they can rather focus on the Johan Cruyff Schaal.
I don't think they will make
this one. Can we clip it?
Yeah, of course, bro.
So your prediction is?
Say it one more time.
Yeah, Sahbi, let's say it together. PSV is not going to
PSV
make it
is
in
not
the,
going to make it. Definitely
no,
not.
in the Champions League. Never.